How are we doing today, guys? Blarg and Flarg here. I'm coming at you today to show you the absolute best setups for Viper on Ascent. This is a attack and defense tutorial, and it will be covering both the A and the B site along with mid. I know it's not its own site, but it's obviously still a place that you have to attack and defend from, so you're going to want to have some information on it anyway. Before we get started, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for dropping by and watching my video. If you enjoy what I do, don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Head over and check out my Twitter and see all my different social media updates, content updates. Sometimes I post when I'm going live and just all sorts of other fun stuff, Valorant and video game related. And visit me on my live stream over on twitch.tv/blargandflarg. I stream twice a week on Tuesdays and Saturday nights, subject to change. So with that being said, let's stop delaying and get right to the video. Okay guys, so while defending the A site, what I want you to do is run right up to this corner here, and we're actually going to cover 3 different locations with your toxic screen. We're going to cover the A main entrance, we're going to cover the tree room entrance from catwalk or mid, and we're also going to cover the archway towards mid to help your team out. This way you can communicate with them, and if they're getting pressure in any specific location, you can pop up this screen, and it's going to do a lot to help them out by blocking out the vision from an enemy. That being said, you can also use this and just deploy it at the beginning of a round and play in any of these locations yourself as well. So what I want you to do is head right over into this corner here on the A site, and then bring your aimer right about to this dark brick here. It's the brick 1 layer above and then directly to the left side wall over the little scanner or door panel that closes the blast door on the A site. When you're here, make sure that this one you want to have low enough, that's why you're down this low, and then aim it straight forward. If you open up your map, you can see you're going to cover across the archway. You're going to cover tree room through that doorway, and then in mid here, you're also going to cover the main doorway there. The reason why you have it so low is that if you aim it any higher, you're going to actually go over the top of that archway in mid, and I'll show you what that looks like when you mess that up later. So once you have it lined up here, you just fire it off, let it set itself out, and then with it up, you can see the cover that you get here on the A site. You can see the cover that you get here in tree room as well. And if we come all the way out, you also have great cover here in mid so that you can hide up on this box or on either side of mid as well. And it's going to give you a good smoke that the enemy has to push through or walk through, which is going to cost them a lot of utility and or time, while still giving you a pretty decent advantage in the fight. But if you come around towards mid as well, you can see the error that I was talking about, where you're putting it over the top of the arch, and that's where the problem is. You see, this isn't actually covering your arch at all. It's really awkward, and then we can just walk right through it. Now, while defending the B site, let's get aggressive. Let's just throw some spice in there. We can't always be defensive, and we should really try and get some information more often than not. It's going to help you a lot more than you know. Now, I want you to throw a toxic screen that goes right across at about the eye of the Marlin right there, while pushed up into this point on the wall. Yeah, you're right. I don't know what that thing's called, so I just kind of, said point in the wall. Whatever. Forget it. Anyways, moving on. Throw this toxic screen down. This is going to do 3 different things for you. This is going to, 1, while you're defending, you can take a passive stance, either from the CT spawn, from the backside of the boathouse, inside the boathouse, or even up on top of the market safely. And what it's going to do is, while having this up, it's going to kind of force people to skirt around this corner if they want to attack, because they're not going to attack by walking through the smoke while it's up. They'll have to either wait for it to go down if they're going to do a slow attack, in which case you generally have another teammate who can use some utility and help you delay, or you can use your snake bites to help delay as well. Just make sure you're not peeking while doing it. And if they do decide to push through here, they're going to rush through really fast, and you've got a great advantage because they're all funneling into this one point. Like I said, they don't want to push through the smoke screen because they won't be able to see very well. Aside from that, while shooting this off immediately, you are able to shoot out the toxic screen, pop it up, and then get into this corner really quick without them even knowing that you're here. Even if you don't do this, they're going to be extremely paranoid about this corner because they can't see it and don't know if you did move into it. So they're always going to spend some utility or extra time trying to clear it out. That's a huge advantage to you. And to take it one step further, if you make it into this corner and still know that there's nobody down here, maybe you pop it down, you don't see anybody around this corner, then after your toxin renews itself and you've got a good amount in your stores, you pop your wall up one more time, and you can even move up and take over this whole area here and just get a ton of control here. And just really, you're getting a lot of control and just a lot of information on where the enemy is. If you can make it this far without seeing any enemies, it gives you so much information and basically guarantees you that they're going to attack either mid or the B site. Okay guys, so to attack the mid area on Ascent, I want you to attack from the B lobby area rather than the A lobby area. We do this because your toxic screen has a pretty limited distance, even though it is very long range. And honestly, A lobby to mid is a very large distance. So to make the most effect of your attack on mid, you are going to have to use both your toxic screen and your poison orb. So yes, this is going to cost you a lot of utility to get there, but I believe that it's honestly well worth the effort because holding the mid area on Ascent is extremely powerful because you're really putting those defenders on the back foot because they don't know which site you're going to attack, and they're going to be constantly paranoid of you splitting towards either site and having them well surrounded with a multiple front attack. It also slows down their reinforcements pretty well because you control that mid area and they have to retake that whole area. Even if you're not there, it's really likely that they're going to end up either going very slowly through it or using some utility to try and get it back because they're paranoid of where you may be. So to attack mid, I want you to walk straight up to this corner here and get ready to throw your toxic curtain. If you look at my mini map, I'm going to bring it up big real quick here. I want you to aim it straight across this angle here, going across the mid courtyard and through lower mid into the pizzeria area. The reason I want you to do this is it blocks off the person in lower mid on the boxes, it blocks off anybody in market here, and it also blocks off anybody towards CT spawn watching the mid angle with maybe an op or anything to that effect. These are really key locations to block off, because that's the majority of the defending area. Not as many people defend from the lower mid on the far side without the boxes because there's not as much cover. And you'll be able to get yourself all the way up into pizzeria. That way it's easy to have a surprise angle on anybody that you are actually fighting there. So taking into account the fact that you are going up in elevation here, make sure that you raise your aimer a bit, get your lineup right, and then pop your curtain across. The next step is to come right over here to this corner and look at the edge of this brick right here, straight down at it. And then I want you to take your aimer and go to the top left corner of this nice screened building here and throw your poison orb in this direction. What this is going to do is it's actually, as you can see here, landing directly on courtyard on the edge towards trees. This orb is going to block off anybody that's peeking the angle from the tree room. That way you're safe in that direction. And then you can pop up your curtain as well so that you can move all the way up mid relatively safely. Of course, not entirely, and make it all the way to the pizzeria here without any problems. So this is what your mid attack looks like from start to finish. You want to start out running right up to this corner, and don't worry too much about doing this extremely quickly. It's the very beginning of the round, and you want to make sure your team knows exactly what's going on anyways. So get yourself lined up and make sure the lineup is good to cover off in mid, like we said, both this box on the left side here, all the way to the wall so that nobody can see you from market and from CT spawn. You only want to have open towards pizzeria here. As soon as that's done, you make sure you aim high enough and shoot off your screen, and then run yourself right on over. Hit this brick, aim up, and throw. As soon as that lands, which it should land perfectly over there, pop both of those at once, and then you can run right into mid. You're gonna have to take a fight from the pizzeria, but that shouldn't be too difficult with multiple people. You can snake right in here in case anybody's hiding in the corner, and then take your location at mid across from market and the pizzeria so that you can take anybody out defending from this location. You'll also be safe from CT spawn in this location unless they try and swing around the corner, which there's no way that they're going to do considering mid is completely open and not under their control, so they don't want to be leaving themselves open towards the courtyard area. So the obvious suggestion for attacking the B site is to do a rush. What I want you to do is just slowly and quietly sneak into B main here, and then you can, from this location, actually make sure you aim high enough, but fire off your curtain at this angle. That way it covers off, as you can see, it's going to cover off both market here and get you right behind the boathouse so that you can make it through here without really getting spotted. If you want to make this a really advanced attack, you can also throw a poison orb through the window here so that it lands right at the edge of the backside of the boathouse. That way, when you run through with your toxic screen up, like so, you push behind the boathouse and activate your poison orb. This makes it so you immediately only have to deal with the back of the site and this corner along with the boxes. There's a lot less areas for the enemies to hide, and it's not as likely for them to push through your poison orb because they're going to take that decaying damage and then go immediately into a fight. So the A site is actually kind of difficult to attack. So you need to get to the winery side to throw out a decent curtain. The best way to do this is by pulling your orb out and getting it right close to the center of the archway. That way you can pop it, and then it's so big that you've got pretty good coverage to get to this far side here, and you can let go of it again as long as you don't have any teammates out there, of course. Take this time to recoup your poison. It's not really likely to make an enemy rotate just off of this little bit of information. And from this far side, you'll be able to line up your curtain pretty well. Now, take into consideration the fact that you are sitting at an extremely low point down here. You're already low in comparison to the A site to begin with, and then you went down some stairs as well. But it's definitely a good spot to shoot out your curtain from. If you walk all the way to the back here, you can actually, if you line up your curtain right, cut off just the edge of the generator box across the site. This is also going to block any vision from heaven towards you while you move into the site, leaving the only place to really worry about being the tree room and anybody that's going to push you through generator. So I definitely suggest that you pop your toxic wall and then shoot your snake bite into this location here behind the generator before you push up, take the fight in tree room, and this gives you a great opportunity to plant the bomb right here behind the generator before your poison wall goes down. That's extremely important because then you're going to be able to back off to whatever place you want to defend from. My personal favorite is always actually back here in A main, because from A main, you know exactly where the bomb is planted and you can even see the lineup using your map or whatever. So with your poison orb up, you're able to just spam through your smoke if you need to, or even just shoot a snake bite to stop them from taking the defuse or holding the defuse. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys all next time.